Today I'm going to show you guys a simple and easy technique that I use to create dust on my car images. Now this tutorial is not a tutorial where I create particles in the dust. I will only work with brush presets, and let's get started. Okay, so before we start with the tutorial, I do want to show you guys what I've created before the tutorial. So this is basically the before and this was the after. So just a simple effect how to create dust here on the street. So this is no tutorial how to show particles or how to create a dust particle effect. It's literally just with normal brushes and a few cloud brushes to create this kind of effect. Anyone can do this, and this is no rocket science. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, what I want to do show you guys is just an empty layer here. Fill that with black foreground color. And I just want to show you guys the brush that I've been using. So basically it is just a normal brush that you can find on the web under Photoshop brushes or cloud brushes. It's mainly smoke and cloud brushes that I use for this kind of effect. So over here I do have a little brush here. If I'm going to tap on here once and just zoom in a little bit closer, you guys can see it's very bright in the center, going a little bit fadey and also noisy, and fades towards the outside and has a really weird shape to it, kind of looking like a cloud, because yes, obviously it's a cloud brush preset. So I've been using just cloud brush presets to create kind of a dusty, smoky effect, and yeah, so far it works pretty good just with using different brushes here from clouds. As you guys can see, if I'm going to switch over, I have a few more, and that's very simple to find. Just hit on Google Cloud. You can find high quality cloud brush presets and also low quality, and I've been using a mix between high and low quality. So over here, as you guys can see, again, quite of a weird shape, looks like a cloud. Okay, so I've been using those. Let me switch off my black layer here again, zoom out a little bit again, and now my first step that I'm going to do with this brush is basically just create a new empty layer. And now I'm also going to select a white foreground color. I'm going to press B for the brush, just go up here to my brush presets again, and as you guys can see, I've got loads of different brush presets. Very simple to load them as well. Just go here to that small little wheel and say load brushes in here, and literally you can just find the folder that you have on your computer that you've just downloaded and load the brushes in here. Okay, so I'm going to use this little guy over here and work with these brushes. So simply on a new layer, I'm also going to rename this now to just layer 1 if so, okay, and work with that brush. Now my first step that I'm also going to do is simply just work with a white foreground color. I'm not going to select a color here from the street because I want to have a little bit of a whiter, dusty, smoky effect in the bottom layer, and then progress to a little bit of a yellowish dust effect on top. So let's start now just with this 100% opacity first brush, and I'm literally gonna just tap this brush once into the file or into the empty layer here. Now also going to press my move tool, and I'm now able to move this actually around a little bit. So I can move it, say, somewhere over here, and that kind of looks nice already. I'm going to press Command J and duplicate that layer just to see how strong will it look if I'm going to duplicate the layer and have exactly the same two brushes on top of each other. It's a little bit too hard for me, so I'm not going to use it, but I will still use the second one copy layer over here. I'm basically going to move that all the way to the back and also place it somewhere over here, and I'm also pressing Command J again just to have the same opacity, same brush and everything. So I'm going to move that also a little bit over and Command J again, duplicate that again, and I'm slowly starting to build a small underground, like a small base here at the bottom. Also Command J again, just to a little bit of smoke. And this is also obviously a little bit of playing. So this wouldn't always look good on the first time, so you have to move these brushes around a little bit to see when it suits the image and when it looks kind of good. Okay, so I've created now my first base here already. I'm going to press Command J once again just to see if I can build another one in here in the back, somewhere like that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take all these layers that we just created, select them, press Command G and create a new group. I'm going to write here group 1 as I had over here in the first preview stage. So I'm just going to move this layer down so we don't get confused. Okay, so with this layer now 1, I'm going to also create a mask on here. So just select the mask icon from the bottom. We get a normal mask on here. I'm going to press B for brush, and also now switch under my brush presets just back to a normal brush, just the round spot. And we can actually now with a black foreground color hide a little bit on this white mask. So I'm going to take the opacity down to say 50% or 52, that's also fine. Making my brush a little bit smaller. And I'm just literally going to hide a little bit these patterns here. I'm actually going to take it a little bit further down, so I just went a step back, say to 20% opacity, and literally just hiding a little bit these duplicated areas in here, still leaving a little bit on the wheel. Okay, something like that. Okay, so for the start that looks kind of okay. Let me also tap in here a little bit. Let's also zoom out a little bit, switch that off and on, so we just have a look before and after. If it's a little bit too strong, we can also take the opacity down here a little bit from our complete group. Now what I'm going to do is again create a new layer, again breathe for the brush, and also again into our brush presets here. I'm going to select a little bit of a different brush cloud over here, maybe something like that. Let's have a look if we're going to switch on our black foreground color here, B for the brush, foreground color white and 100% opacity. On the black layer, if we're going to select that, it looks a little bit too intense, it's a bit too much cloudiness, so it looks a bit too cloudy. So I'm going to select a different brush preset, maybe something like 432. Let's have a look. Yep, that could kind of work. Also I'm going to work with that guy, and as well let's have a look for another one, the second one here. It's a little bit too brushy again, too big. I'm just looking for a smaller one and one that has a bit more particles. Something like something different. 3.7, that could kind of work as well. Okay, so I'm going to switch off the black layer here again, go back to layer 8, also switch on our second layers here. Okay, zoom a little bit back, and as you guys can also already see here, it looks kind of better than just creating a little bit of dust spots with just a normal brush. Okay, so on that brush again, I'm going to literally make this brush now a little bit bigger. So I'm literally just making the brush sizes a little bit bigger here on my retouching board, simply just to make that brush a little bit bigger. You can also do that under the brush presets here at the top, just switch the size up a little bit. So as you guys can see already, I made this a little bit bigger and moved this around a little bit. I'm also going to press Command T, rotate this a little bit, and kind of move this into a new position here. Okay, except that, I'm also going to press Command J, duplicate that layer, and move that over here as well. Okay, a little bit in, so it's a little bit here on the side as well. We're going to copy that a little bit away here from the foreground. Okay, take both of these layers, Command G again. I'm just going to write here now 2, so it's my second group. Create a mask again, B for the brush. Switch again back to my brush presets over here and just switch to a new, or just to the simple brush effect. Okay, and as well black foreground color. Then also going to make it a little bit smaller here and just brush out in the foreground. Okay, switching to 20% opacity and just tapping away a little bit in here. Okay, tap, tap, tap. Zoom out a little bit again, quickly having a look before and after, before and after. Okay, and now what I'm also going to do is just with I, going to sample a little bit of this foreground color here. But now we just on the mask, so I'm going to go back to my original layer here and just select a very light foreground color here from the street. So something like this, it's a little bit too hard still, something like that. Press B again for the brush, and we're also going to create again a new layer, move that all the way to the top. And again we're going to go into the brush presets, and we're again going to select just the cloud over here, maybe the bigger cloud. Okay, and I'm also going to make this a bit bigger again, and just tap once into here. Let's also select just at 100% opacity, select the tap over here. Okay, and now we can already see that this is not white anymore, it looks more of a yellowish brownish color like the street. And again from on T, just rotate this a little bit, and we can also place this somewhere over here. Okay, so let's zoom out again, and that looks kind of a better again. It gives us a little bit of an effect here at the back, so I'm going to duplicate that as well, Command J, so it gets a little bit stronger here in the back. Also move that up a little bit so it goes more into the air instead of over the street. Okay, somewhere over there. That looks kind of more real to me again. Now what I'm still going to do is create a new layer, move that all the way down to the bottom underneath the smoke. Just take it between the layers here, and I'm going to double tap here and do a dodge and burn layer, so D and B. I don't want to do this before, I always do it afterwards, so it's a little bit easier for me to see when the smoke gets darker, lighter, and as well with the rims and the cards. Okay, but let's do that now. So I'm going to select the dodge and burn layer, Command A, press M for the marking tool, right click, and I want to fill this again with just 50% gray. Select OK here, and now we have that underneath, right? I'm also going to say here soft light, as well as you guys can already see now also the different color varieties. Here it's more white, and here more yellow, brownish color, or whatever you call it. Then also want to go down and switch this to soft light. Command D, okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. And now as well with B, with my brush, I'm just going to select the normal brush preset again, a round ball here, softer. Make the size a bit smaller again via my wheel, via my retouch board. And I want to switch again to black and white foreground color with D, back to black and white, and X white foreground color. Now I'm literally going to paint just with around 10, say around 8 or 9% opacity. And I'm just going to brighten a little bit here on the wheels. Okay, so I'm just dodging over this area. As you guys can see now, this before and after already. So literally just brightening at the bottom these areas a little bit. A little bit more. Okay, also here a little bit. Just brightening that a bit. And now I'm just tapping through my way. I'm not stroking too much, just tap, tap, tap. Okay, as well, I'm going to switch the foreground colors again to black to just darken some areas again. Just tap, 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 and as well in here, just darkening these, so just giving a little bit of dimension again. Okay, a little bit more. That's about it actually already. Let's also zoom out again. Let's have a quick look before and after. So that's again before and after, before and after. Just brightening a little bit again at the bottom here. I'm going to select all of these layers again, press Command G, and just write here dust for the moment. And switch this on and off, and on and off and on again, just to have a look at before and after. It looks quite strong to me. My first approach was a little bit better. If we have a look here, that was approach 1, and this was now in the tutorial, so it's a little bit harder from the second go around. Okay, so we can literally go back in here and also now just take some of these layers down a little bit. So just with the opacity, I'm literally just going to take the opacity down a little bit on individual groups here, just to make them not that strong as we had them before. So again, this is before and after, before and after. Okay, so I'm not 100% happy yet with this retouching. I would most probably spend a bit more time on this and retouch this a bit more carefully. And also I guess it would look a bit more better on a gravel road than on the normal street here.
Alright, yeah, so that's basically it for today's Photoshop tutorial. Do let me know in the comments down below what you think about this tutorial. Hit me up with a like, support me, subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye bye.